Everything in commercial real estate has changed. There's a new buyer, and it's not who you think.
No?
People are changing the way they behave online right before our eyes. In this episode of CREview, we're going to show you what that looks like, how it may impact your business, and how you can beat competitors. Welcome back to another episode of CREview. I'm Josh, I'm here with Dill, and today we are talking about
User behavior.
Oh,
I know it doesn't sound sexy, but there's some really interesting stuff going on.
Yeah, I think it sounds sexy.
Do you?
Mm-hmm.
User behavior.
Yeah.
Audience journey. How does that make you feel?
Wish I could hear that come out of it. I'm excited.
Without our audience, we have nothing, eh?
Yes.
So you might be like, oh, user journey. But without a user, you don't have any money. No one's ever make any money without the user.
Yeah.
So if you don't understand how the user buys your product, leases your space, whatever, invests, then how are you gonna do anything with them? And it's not just about marketing. Like this episode very much about your business and growing your business in what's happening now. And what's happening now is a lot. There's so much is changing. So much has changed. The landscape is, man, I promise it's changing before our eyes, and behaviors are shifting. The way people move through funnels is changing, and I really want to get across in this episode how important that is for business and what it means for your growth.
With marketing, I think it's important to always remember that it's very psychological, like understanding people, like the way people think, how your audience thinks, how they behave, and that changes over time. It's like natural, like evolution.
Yeah.
And with new things like, for example, advancements in technology, that's going to change how people behave and the environment that they operate in, and how your business presents to people. And
if you don't change the way you behave, if your audience is behaving in a certain way, if you don't make those changes, they're not going to consider you as a potential. You're not going to become a customer of yours because they're going to use someone else who is changing with them.
Exactly. I think it's kind of like a marriage where there's two people, they're married. The best way to go about it, so I've heard, is that you grow together. And some people grow apart. And I think you grow apart if you don't stay aligned in that way.
Yeah.
And,
we want to keep those divorce rates low.
Exactly.
It's
at an all-time high.
We want to grow together with that audience. The problem at the moment is that user behaviors are changing and people are underestimating the impact that AI has had on those user behaviors. The user journey, the majority of a user journey now is invisible. And
based on the fact that we aren't really able to track.
Because users they're using different technology now than they have for the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And this has really just changed in the last couple of years, and really in the last 12 months. But that journey has become invisible to us. Well, to most companies, they don't know what is happening. And we're seeing it because we can see changes in the data that we're seeing from campaigns and the way people are interacting with our marketing and with the companies that we are helping grow. We're seeing these differences in how their audience is moving through that buyer journey.
Yeah.
And now those differences are triggering us because I can see that they're coming into the game very, very late before they're then considered to be a lead. And I started asking myself, why is this happening? Obviously, the answer is fairly simple. What has changed in the last 12, 24 months?
Yeah.
The introduction of GPTs. So with this thinking, when you're bringing in such a massive change of technology into consumer behavior, that has to change something. So the way we've been doing it is not the way we need to keep doing it, because they're doing it differently, which means we, not just as marketers, but as companies. So like you need to change with them, and you need to, like you said, like we don't want that divorce rate to go up, right?
Yeah.
We want to grow with the audience and how they are changing, because if we're not doing it the way they want us to do it, they're not going to consider us. They're going to go somewhere else.
You'll find a new partner because someone else will be,
And,
someone else will take your place.
Yeah, like they're researching earlier, they're engaging later, and they're making decisions using a lot more digital influence now, and that's what I want to go into. So, yeah, it's this is really important information if you're not just a marketer but a business owner.
Yeah.
Because the invisible journey is something you can't attribute it, you can't track it, but it's happening.
I kind of like feel like we've anticipated this coming. We just didn't know if it was AI or what it was going to be. But I mean, if we look at like how long we've been writing blogs and SEO and like all these things and putting all that focus into like those very traditional styles of marketing, and it kind of felt like there was going to be something that was going to change the game. And, naturally, I think these GPTs and like the use of AI and stuff have done that. Also, just based on the fact that there's like an overwhelming amount of content everywhere, and we got that digital fatigue. I don't know if you agree, if maybe that's also why, like maybe we're getting a bit lazier. What are your thoughts on, like, how do you think we are, or why do you think we're wanting to use these GPTs and these sort of AI methods to?
I mean, that's a deep question.
Yeah.
I like that question.
Because I'm seeing this a lot. I'm seeing I saw something the other day that said we've got like a 0 something, like, and it was referring to like our battery, almost like you see people that like, people don't post on Instagram anymore. We used to post pictures of our meal in the morning and all these things. So we are all actually so digitally burnt out.
Overwhelmed.
And we like so fatigued, and you
100%.
actually can't take leave from that
I call it soul burnout.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're not tired, like it's not something you can solve by sleep. I actually saw this, a friend of mine posted this the other day. It was really interesting. But I don't know, this woman posted something, she was saying, and she was posting it on social media, which is also ironic, but
always, yeah.
It's like we're tired, but not in a way that sleep can solve. Like our souls are tired because of the complete overwhelm of information and news and pictures and videos and screen time.
Yeah.
So
because we've hit a time now where it's been around for what? Like, I'm trying to even, I've lost count of
like
how long it's.
what, like social media,
like all these things, just like
screen,
how that's crept into our lives.
Yeah.
That this digital life.
It's like almost, it became
maybe like 15 years or.
Yeah, I mean, it's been around since 2007, I would say.
Yeah.
So Facebook's been around since 2007. So it's been around for a while, but it's enveloping our evolution of we have to have this screen. We have to have this screen with us all the time.
Yeah.
And obviously, like, those behaviors changed. It took a while for people to trust purchasing things online and all those things. And when that trust was formed, everyone was like, okay, cool, we can like run models now that are just
and everybody
buy things online, and then everyone did that. And then really the last 2 years, with the GPTs and everything, like it took us a little bit of time to trust, but now we like trust more, and even though they still make mistakes. But what it's done is it's made people demand instant answers to things. I always go back to like,
well, instant answers, because I'm not going to read a whole blog to get
exactly
the full story.
Oh,
I'm like,
gosh, why'd I have to read that whole thing?
It's the same, like we like Google. We don't even type a full sentence when we're Googling these days. We're like, like recipe cake.
And it's going to give you,
it'll do it,
something good, and this instant gratification, instant answers, dopamine thing is fueling a lot of user behaviors, and those are changing now with because of AI, because it's made everything more crazy, because we don't have to read really that much anymore. And so what that really means is that if people are looking for instant answers and all of these things, like what are you as a brand, what are you as a company doing to provide that?
Yeah.
And that's how this is all sort of started. So we're seeing this, what I'm calling the great behavior shift. I mean, it's another behavior shift, but it's a behavior shift that we need to take note of. And we have spoken about it briefly before, but 80%, I just want to make sure I get this right, 80% of buyers will research before they reach out. It's the same as like 8 to 13 pieces of content they're going to consume before they consider you, before they reach out to a broker, maybe not a broker, but fill out a form or
Take the
anything
next
like
step.
that. It's like making it really difficult, to get those form fills and all those things, because people are so, it takes a really long time to do things and they don't want all the spam, blah, blah, blah. But, we can't really just rely on, okay, let's go out with this campaign and then we're going to get all these leads, because that audience, if they've started that journey, by the time they're going to make a decision, they've done all the research on their own. So we might attract them, and we might create a trigger for them in an awareness stage of a campaign, and they're going to be like, oh, I didn't know I could do that, I didn't know I needed that, or whatever. And then they're going to go in and be like, okay, how does this work? So they're going to Google stuff, they're going to go into their GPT, and they're going to ask it questions. And that's this entire journey that you don't see.
Yeah.
Are you being shown in those places when they're doing that research? Because those are the companies that are going to be considered by this person as someone that they want to do business with. So if you aren't there, if when they're doing all of that stuff that you don't know about, if you're not there, it's tickets. You're out. You're out the game.
I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but like, what are the ways that like people can make sure that they're there, and what does it look like to like not be there? Like, what is stopping you from showing up?
There's quite a lot of work that has to be done. So if we want to go into the AI side of things, and we want to talk about AI scraping and how it's pulling data when someone is posing a question to it, how are you being seen in that space? So how is it pulling your information? Is it pulling answers for you? That comes down to many different things, but it's about creating an ecosystem of content and information and answers that AI is able to read and that it can trust. And if you're able to do that, it's going to provide, your company as part of potential recommendations, etc.
Yeah, it's still a thing. Like you can't assume that AI is going to scrape absolutely everything on the internet. There are still, walls that it can't get through, and
it's quite lazy as well. It's going to go to like easier sources.
Yeah,
but
the path of least resistance to be as quick as possible. So whatever sort of looks more.
Well, there's ways to now, build your website for AI. We used to build websites for SEO, but building it for AI now is a slightly different way of doing things. AI looks for answers to questions. So if you put a question into your GPT, it's going to go and find the answer to that type of question. It's not necessarily going to go to a website that has all that information in a jumbled way that it has to go and search and do a million things before it gets that. It's going to go to the website that question's already been asked and it's been answered. So
they're just citing
it's obviously
something.
going to look at different sources and all of those things to make sure that information is accurate, even though it's not always accurate. But so that's the way it's starting to well, that's the way it works. But as a brand, you need to be creating this ecosystem that the AI, you're giving it the best possible chance to suggest you for you to come up in those answers when people are searching. But that's a difficult thing to put metrics to analyze, to track, because unless you're doing your own, it's tricky. It's not as simple as if we do this amount of SEO, we get this score and blah, 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 like we'll rank, you know. It's a little bit more ephemeral, whereas like we don't know exactly where it's going to pull from, because you can ask it the same question twice and give you two different answers and pull from different
and
if
if you tell it to
websites.
answer it in a different way, or like you change your wording, then
so that's the GPT side is very much from a consideration phase of marketing.
Yeah,
it's at stage 2, right? Because it's intent. Someone is already searching for it.
Yeah, they have the intention of finding out that
they might
information.
not be asking about your brand, but they're asking about something related to what you do. It's already in the intent stage. So there's still an opportunity from a marketing point of view to create the triggers in the awareness phase that gets people thinking about it. And then if you're there, then you're able to, as a company, you're on their radar, you're on that person's radar. So there's the possibility of you being considered. But that user journey is different now, because where it used to be, we trigger, we put them in the funnel, we retarget them, we get them to close, right? Now it's like we can trigger, they might consider us, but they're going to go do their own research that we can't track.
Yeah.
But during that research phase that's invisible to us, 3 other companies might come up, and we're out of consideration.
We just got to make sure that we're there.
Yeah,
we're
but
doing our best.
it's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
So that's what I want to talk about a little bit, like the different things and what we're calling growth marketing. And these are things that I believe are going to impact business growth, not just marketing. Marketing is a layer within that. But looking at these new user journeys, these are the type of systems that we're going to have to start building.
So essentially what we're saying is that consideration is the new metric of visibility.
I think that for me is where I see this going. Like, consideration is going to become what we're going to start to measure as our main metric. Leads are going to become harder and harder to get in the normal ways that we've got them before. And I'm not going to go into leads because we've done it in previous podcasts. But consideration is, in my opinion, where we should be focusing most of our energy now, because we want to be considered by our audience. Because there's so much stuff that's happening off the radar in this invisible space that we can't track. We have to make sure that we are part of their consideration, because the behavior has changed and the way people are getting to the final point is that we don't have control over that journey anymore like we used to, where we could see it and we could retarget them, and all, cookies are going away and all those things, and they're using AI. So consideration becomes the most important thing. Are you being considered by this audience?
Yeah, because if you are being considered, you know that you're being visible.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly the point. If you're being considered at the end of their journey, you know you're coming up in all the right places. So it's a very interesting way of looking at things now. And basically every piece of content, the user experience that they go through, how they're interacted with through that journey, how they move through a landing page, all of those things are going to become part of their consideration journey. And that's what we need to make sure we're getting right. It's not just about like shouting super loud in ads up front. Yeah. It's like, how do we put all those little touch points in there so that when they're like, I'm ready to make a decision, I loved this experience with this company, and they're not going to say that to themselves, but it's just going to happen naturally. And that's kind of what we want to happen now. So the companies that show up consistently across multiple stages are the ones that are going to be winning in this. I'm calling it like the consideration wars, because that's what it's becoming. Like, are you or your competitors being shown in that consideration? So if you're staying top of mind throughout that journey, you're gonna really put yourself in the best position to close.
I mean, the example that always pops in my head when when I think about this like whole consideration thing is like, are you in those like overviews in like Google or like in a browser? And if like the internet is considering you to even be eligible.
AI is considering you. That's it. Are you being considered by AI? And it's weird. We were talking about this the other day, how people are using Google versus their like GPT. So we were saying we won't open up a new chat if we just need the answer to one thing. We'll go to Google, ask it, get the answer really quickly. But if we want to dive a little bit deeper into something and understand a bit more about it and ask multiple questions, then I'm going to use my GPT, right? So you can really see how people are starting to use these things naturally. It's a natural thing that's starting to happen, and that's what we need to start. Okay, if people are starting to do that as a natural way of behaving from a search point of view, we need to incorporate that into our marketing and how we get our brands out there, because that's how people are using digital. So how do we move and change with them?
Sure.
Yeah, it's wild, man. No, a lot is changing, and that's why we can't just sit on our fucking asses doing the same things that we've been doing for the last 10, 15 years and expect the results to be the same. Like, that's the height of stupidity, right?
Yeah.
Like doing the same thing over and over and
different results.
Exactly. So things are changing. We have to change with them. And you can sit with your head in the sand. It's fine. But you're going to wake up in 6 months' time. It's not going to be that long. And you're going to be like, where are all my clients gone? Where are all the leads gone? Where's all this gone? Oh, because my competitors saw things changing and they changed with them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's changing fast.
What you don't use, you lose.
Yeah.
In terms of the body, all these things.
Yeah.
And with this whole thing, it's one day or day one. Who's going to carry the browser?
The browser wars are starting, by the way.
Yeah.
If you don't know, the browser wars are beginning.
What's your one called?
There was no browser war before. Like, Microsoft didn't have a browser war with Chrome, but the browser wars have begun.
There's a new player.
ChatGPT Atlas versus Google Chrome, and I think there was another one that I saw the other day, maybe Perplexity, but it's starting, and it's going to fundamentally change the way we use search and the internet. So if you get a chance, I think I don't know when this is coming out, but at the moment it's only out on Apple, on Mac. But I've been using it for a week, so I changed my default browser to Atlas, and it's wild. Like, just the way you interact with websites now, you've got ChatGPT on that website with you at all times. So if there's anything you want to see, understand, whatever it is, it's there.
And this is just a prime example of the fatigue that we're feeling, and the fact that we can't even Google something and read a blog. We're like, no, new browser, scrap Google. I want instant everything.
Well,
we're not making that happen, but the creators know that would appeal to us.
Yeah. There's obviously so much money at stake.
Yeah.
So, OpenAI, they've obviously got there's Microsoft own, I think, 49%. It's quite a complex deal structure, but so there's a lot happening, Microsoft versus Alphabet. And Microsoft, for the first time in a long time, have a very, very good chance of winning.
I mean, my money's on.
So
invest in Microsoft now, like you.
Yeah.
Well, you should have 10 years ago, probably.
A long time ago.
It's always like this, man.
But look, what this is saying is that with all these new things that are going in, they're not just things that are going in and everyone's just like, that's crap, I'm not going to use it. People are using it. It's being adopted.
Yeah.
So don't underestimate the massive influence that this technology is having on our behavior. And that's why online buyer journeys are changing now. That's the bottom line.
On that note, if you don't already, subscribe, like, drop some comments if you have any questions or thoughts.
If you made it this far, please like it.
Please, yeah. Stay tuned. We talk about commercial real estate marketing topics.
But also just marketing in general.
And marketing.
And how it can relate to commercial real estate for sure.
And how it could affect you if you are in marketing or commercial real estate or both. So, there's a growth response.
Well, there's a response. We've got to have a response to this user behavior, right? We've got to, what do we do?
And we as marketers,
it's just
people,
business owners, companies, what do you do about this? Like, it's changing, so we've got to change with it. So what do we do? And
essentially, like, what's up, fam? What's the next move?
Yeah.
No cap.
I know, it's not that. That's not what it means.
No.
No, so we've started working on something in response to this. This is not a plug. This is just like what we think is going to be the thing that starts to plan around these behavior shifts.
Retaliation.
Yes.
In the wall.
Yes. Or are we arming ourselves? We have to.
Yeah.
This is no joke. It's not for kids, this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's serious stuff. The solution, not to say that this is the only solution or the 100% right solution, but the solution is not more marketing, in my opinion, but the solution is connected marketing. So business growth connected to everything. So all of the systems that you have in place need to be more connected now.
Yeah. It's going along the same vein as when we like marketing and sales need to be one. That whole...
Yeah. But now it's like more than that now. So that's a really good, that needs to happen.
Yeah.
But all of the different parts of your business need to start being more connected. So,
as opposed to us also being like, you know, how we've like generally worked where it's like, okay, cool. These are the objectives, run the campaign, evaluate, next campaign, evaluate, and then, you know, like we hope.
So like that's very surface level stuff.
Now we're going into the soil.
The surface level marketing is still important because you need to create awareness. You need to create those triggers for people to get into that journey, right? This is so that's stuff like your branding, your messaging, your content design, media, paid ads, all of that. So that lives at the top of your funnel. It's like that's your marketing. But we need to start looking at the deeper levels and making sure all the stuff is connected. So when we go one step further from the marketing, the next thing is looking at the user experience, the user interface that they are going through. Because if we go back to what we were saying earlier, to be considered, you need to be at least on par with what your competitors are doing, if not better, right? But for the AIs more than anything.
Yeah.
So it's not just about your competitors, but like you need to be...
Well, to be considered, you got to be in the realm of visibility that your competitors are probably in.
Yes.
You know, like, so if all your competitors are up at the top of the mind of
you need to get
everything, you need to be in there. So,
and if they aren't there, you got a great opportunity to get to the top. You know what I mean?
It's the same as like when like SEO was first created and people were like hopped on it. Same as the Bitcoin people. Same as the you know.
Yeah. So how do we now like look at this sort of funnel? So we've got these different layers now, and it's your marketing at the top, then it's your user experience, the landing pages, everything that they're going through once they click on an ad. Then it's going into, I'm going to read this because there's quite a few, but the automations and systems. So your CRM, how is that plugging into those the layers above it? You know, how does it plug into your landing page? How is it plugging into your marketing? And so making sure that that's all connected. Then going a little bit deeper into your data.
Yeah.
How is your data being pulled from the CRM, from your landing page, from your marketing, how are you consolidating that data? What is it doing in your CRM? Like, how are you using that data? So then going into the next step. So going into your customer retention, your customer success. So what do those renewal programs look like? How are they starting to speak to the layers above it? What data are you getting from the layer above to show like where a customer's dropping off? How long are they staying for? What's the lifetime value of that client? So that's the next layer. And then going even deeper than that is actually enabling your employees with the right information so that they are equipped to deal with these different levels and to deal with this user journey that is changing. So, are you training them on the best way of using AI, maybe the best way of reaching these customers in different parts of the journey that they've probably been through already? So how are you changing the way that you sell to them when they get to you eventually? So enabling.
It almost feels like we got to bring everyone on board to like the 22nd century, like the 21st century was this like technology, all these things, and now it's like, okay, that's kind of Old Testament.
It is a little bit, but at the same time, most companies are doing these things. So most companies have got CRMs. Most companies have got a landing page. They've got user experiences. They've got data. They've got customer success people.
Yeah,
they're enabling this. But are they all connected? So if you think of it from a marketing point of view, marketing, it's not just about marketing. Marketing is that level at the top where
it's all satellite,
trying to bring them in, right?
Yeah.
But all of that stuff has to now be connected. If we think about getting that person to consider you, all of those things have to be working really, really well. Because if they aren't, there's the possibility that you fall out of their funnel.
Yeah.
You aren't picked up by the AI. You aren't getting peer recommended because you've done a bad job on your customer success or your customer retention.
Yeah.
They're not Googling you. I'm going back to like if they're to Google you because they heard of you, like what does that digital footprint look like? So all of those things that we're calling growth marketing now, because it's about growing your business, and growth marketing is kind of absorbed into all of these different areas to make sure that you're being considered at the end of the day. And if all you're doing is the surface level marketing, like just running the campaigns and hoping that people fill in a form, this whole invisible journey that you don't see is happening without you, and you're not going to be there. What we're seeing growth marketing to be is how people are actually behaving and not how we wish they behaved. So we need to be honest with ourselves and look at the data, because the data is telling us they're behaving in a certain way, and we can't like hide under a rock and say no, they're not doing that.
Yeah.
So growth marketing is really about, this is the way people are behaving, not the way we wish they were behaving.
Yeah.
It's like,
so you can't parent them. It's like you can't be like, hey, come, do it like this.
do it this way. You must do it this way.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, no, bro,
Yeah.
I'm not doing it that way.
Yeah.
Why do I have to do it that way? I do it way easier, much better way.
Get out of my room, mom.
Yeah. Out.
So how does a company start to think like this? Like where do they start?
I think it's just about mapping out what you've got. Like map out your buyer journey. Map that thing out. Look at where they are. How do they get to that point? And what do they go through at every stage where your company is involved? So map out those different areas. So map out your marketing, map out your user experience. What does that user experience look like when they get to your website or your landing page? Do you think it's good? Like, could it be better?
You almost put yourselves in their shoes and be like,
you have to always put yourself in the audience shoes. How are they using all of this new technology to find you, to consider you?
Focus groups would go so hard with this. bringing
Yeah.
people in, being like,
If you've got the money to spend on
yeah,
doing that sort of research, it would be really valuable.
Mm.
Because so how is your CRM optimized correctly? Is it working properly? Map that out. Is what data are you collecting? Are you collecting the right data? Map that out. So just build a big ecosystem in Miro, like it's a great place to do it.
yeah,
Do a Miro board and map out all of that stuff. Customer success, customer retention, what does that look like? Enabling your employees, what does that look like? So then you're going to have a really, really robust picture of how your company is situated to market in the best way to this buyer that you can't see for 80% of the journey.
yeah. Essentially, lay out all the puzzle pieces.
If you get all of that stuff right, you're going to give yourself the best chance
Yeah,
of being found and being considered. But if you're just focusing on like top level stuff, I think you're going to miss out a lot.
focusing on top level is choosing to keep your head in the clouds and not look at what's happening on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not to say it's not going to work for the next little while or whatever, and there's still going to be people that do things in a slightly more old school way, but and that's fine. But I think gradually you will start to see that data do that, and then you're going to be like, shit, we should have probably
Invest in Bitcoin.
yeah, so just to change things.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
start thinking a little bit more about it.
So, with all of this in mind, what do you think the future is, or what do you think the future looks like with all of this technology?
I think we're in the future. Like we're already thinking about the future, like the future's, it's weird. Like it's so fast. The stuff's happening so fast. It's almost like we're in the present and the future at the same time. We have to think of both. It's very stressful, but I think I just want to, I did write something down, but
It's a bit of a like transitional period where we like dipping our feet are on the border of two countries.
I think that where this is going for me is hyper personalization. I think everyone wants their entire experience to be personalized to them. They don't want something that's generic because it's not answering their questions, and that's where AI is so unreal because it's so hyper personalized to you specifically. So your AI is going to know you so well.
Yeah.
It's going to know that you only like Nike, you don't like Adidas. It's going to know that you don't like that type of cologne. You only like, you know what I mean? So it's going to be so hyper personalized, everything that companies, brands, commercial real estate companies, we need to be hyper personalized towards the AI. So your AI needs to speak to that AI, and it needs to become brand loyal. You need to be like this brand loyalty is beginning to become more and more important because the AI that's personal to you is different to my AI because it knows what I like. It knows what yours like. So when it suggests answers, it's going to suggest them based on you and your preferences.
For example, like you say, for example, your AI knows that you like shared or like fee sharing, for example. That you like that model.
Yeah.
And you're a broker and you're looking to join a new brokerage firm.
Yeah.
That's going to look very different to companies that don't have that model.
Yeah. So when you give the AI that context to say like, I want to make more money than I would somewhere else, it's going to be like, okay, cool. So you could look at a company like this because they do this type of, this is their type of model.
Yeah.
So in commercial real estate, those are some of the things you're going to need to think about. What questions are people asking their GPTs? The types of people they follow on Instagram, those types of peer recommendations that they're getting, those all feed into this consideration journey. And hyper personalization is kind of where it's going, where the AIs are going to just talk to each other and based on who you are as a human being. So the more brand loyal you become to your audience, the more connected all your systems are, the better the user experience, the better the user journeys, the better brand purpose and all those things. That's going that's going to make people loyal to you as a company potentially. And if they haven't heard of you before, they didn't know you existed.
Yeah.
When they're doing that research, when the AIs are suggesting these things, that user journey is what's going to get you considered, and the way that they're interacting, and the things that your company is saying, and what are you saying in your content? What are you putting out there on videos? What are you, so it's this full connected ecosystem that you need to have that is going to provide the ability to be considered. I hope that makes sense.
I think it does. Yeah, it's a lot, but
it is a lot, and it's probably a little forward thinking at the moment, but
forward thinking is good though.
Something we're really like diving into.
Yeah. So I think our biggest takeaway from this is that everything is changing.
Yeah. If the user behavior changes, everything changes.
We have to evolve.
We have to evolve with it.
Just like the earth is getting hotter, shave our hair off.
Buy more sunscreen.
More sunscreen.
Evolve. Change with it.
Plant more trees so we hide in the shade.
That's it.
Same thing.
Users change behavior.
Yep.
Got to change with them.
We got to plant more.
Ask yourself, are you being considered?
Yeah.
That's all you got to ask yourself. Am I being considered?
Consideration is key. With everything in life.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially the future of commercial real estate marketing and digital marketing. If you found this episode useful, helpful,
sad with a bit more enthusiasm,
weird, funny, sad,
too out there, sad, scary.
Any sort of emotion, let us know what you thought, and stay tuned for more conversations like this, looking at commercial real estate marketing and the future of everything that's happening in our lives in this space.